What if I told you the Doctor who left in a storm of fire, controversy, and impossible choices has just said she would never hesitate to return? What if I told you Jodie Whittaker, yes, the 13th Doctor herself, has cracked the door wide open for one of the biggest comeback moments in Doctor Who history? Let me ask you this, do you remember the moment she first stepped out of the TARDIS, hood up, sparks flying, whispering one word, "Oh, brilliant"? Fans cheered, some raged, but no one could ignore it. Jodie Whittaker wasn't just stepping into the TARDIS, she was stepping into the firestorm of one of the most divided eras of the entire franchise. And now, she's saying she'd walk straight back into that storm again without hesitation. But why now? And more importantly, what does she know that we don't? Because here's the thing. Jodie didn't just casually mention this at a convention Q&A. She told a national paper that even 20 years from now, she'd return if asked. Think about that. She's not just leaving the door open. She's practically standing at the threshold, suitcase in hand, waiting for the call from Russell T Davies or whoever holds the keys to the TARDIS next. That's not nothing. That's not a throwaway, that's a signal. And here's the twist. For years, Whittaker's era has been labeled, unfairly or not, as divisive. Some fans loved the bold new direction, others bristled at the tonal shifts, the pacing, the lore-bending reveals. And yet, if Jodie herself is so openly embracing the possibility of return, what does that tell us about the way Doctor Who itself is changing? Could it be that the BBC and Disney already have conversations happening behind the scenes about bringing her back for a special? Or is she dropping breadcrumbs, reminding us all that her time isn't really over? Now, let's get personal for a second. Imagine this: you've had a job where the entire world is watching you. Some people cheer your every move, others boo from the sidelines. And then, just as you're starting to find your rhythm, it's over. Would you really want to go back? Most people would say no. Most people would run. But not Whittaker. She says she loved it. She calls it coming home. That word alone, home, should send chills down your spine if you've ever loved this show. Because isn't that what the Doctor is to us? Home? And here's where the forbidden knowledge comes in. Whittaker has already technically returned. Remember the cameo with Ncuti Gatwa? The Beat Generation moment that shattered everything we thought we knew about regeneration. That wasn't an accident. That wasn't a fun Easter egg. That was Russell T Davies planting the seed that the 13th Doctor's story is not finished. Jodie Whittaker isn't just reminiscing, she's hinting. And if you look closely, the BBC has form here. David Tennant said the exact same kind of thing years ago. I'd always be up for coming back. Everyone laughed. And then he came back not once, but twice. Do we really believe Jodie's statement isn't part of the same playbook? But let's pause, because I need to throw something at you directly. What if the 13th Doctor's true legacy hasn't even happened yet? What if her defining story isn't in the past, but waiting in the future? That's the secret no one wants to say out loud, but it's staring us in the face. And yes, while we're here, let me remind you, if you're watching this breakdown and you care about this franchise, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. Because if Whittaker is about to step through that TARDIS door again, you'll want to be here when we unravel every secret, every rumor, every forbidden leak. Don't be the person who finds out late. Stay ahead. Hit subscribe. Now, back to the storm. The truth is, Jodie's statement isn't just about her, it's about the state of Doctor Who itself. The franchise is in chaos right now. Disney deal collapsing, fans divided over Billy Piper's regeneration, the spin-offs delayed, UIT hanging in the balance. And right in the middle of that hurricane, Jodie Whittaker drops this: "I wouldn't hesitate to return." It's almost too perfect. It's almost like the BBC needs her to say this to remind everyone that the door to the 13th era isn't closed, it's just ajar. But ask yourself, why would she be so open now, when for years after leaving she stayed mostly quiet about the controversies? Why now, unless she knows something is coming? Unless Russell T Davies already has her penciled in for an anniversary, a crossover, a multiverse episode that could reunite multiple Doctors. And remember, B generation means there can be two Doctors at once. If Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor can split and coexist, what's stopping Whittaker's Doctor from being out there somewhere, still traveling, still fighting, still waiting for her moment? I'll tell you what's stopping it: nothing. Nothing at all. So here's the problem. The fandom still hasn't reconciled with her era. The timeless child revelation, the uneven episodes, the criticism of the scripts, all of that hangs over her legacy. If she comes back, will fans accept her? Or will the backlash flare up again, louder than before? That's the risk. That's the cliff edge Doctor Who is standing on. But here's the secret. Sometimes, the very thing that divides a fandom is the thing that brings it back together. And if Whittaker's return is handled right, it could be the redemption arc the 13th Doctor always deserved. So I'll leave you with this question. Looping back to where we started, what if the next great Doctor Who twist isn't a new face, but the return of the one we thought was finished? What if Jodie Whittaker isn't just willing to come back? What if she's already on her way? Let's cut to the chase. Jodie's return wouldn't just be a casting decision, it would be a declaration of war inside the fandom. Why? Because her era, whether you loved it or loathed it, changed Doctor Who forever. Some call it bold, others call it broken. But here's the kicker: Russell T Davies knows this better than anyone. So if Jodie is whispering that she wouldn't hesitate, it's not just nostalgia, it's a leverage. Think about it. Russell, the same man who resurrected the series in 2005, is now walking on a knife's edge. Disney has pulled back. Ratings have been unpredictable. The regeneration twist with Billie Piper rattled long-time fans and fractured canon in ways we haven't even begun to piece back together. So what's the forbidden move? Bringing Jodie back, not as a side cameo, but as a central chess piece in the unfolding drama. But here's the uncomfortable truth: no one wants to admit Whittaker's era was never just about her performance. It was about the writing, the production mandates, the cultural politics at the time. Yet when the backlash came, it wasn't showrunner Chris Chibnall's name trending, it was hers. She carried the blame, she carried the weight, she carried the hate. And now, years later, she's standing tall saying she'd do it again. Why? That's not nar vitae, that's power. That's unfinished business. Here's a thought experiment. What if Jodie's 13th Doctor isn't done in canon? We saw her regenerate into David Tennant's 14th, sure. But remember the timeless child arc? Remember B generation now being possible. The law has cracked open. There is no longer Horn Doctor at a time, which means Jodie could walk back onto the screen tomorrow and it wouldn't even require undoing anything. That's not an accident. That's groundwork, and fans are already split. Some say, please no, don't drag us back. Others say, yes, give her justice, give her the scripts she deserved. And then there are the quiet ones. The ones who see the larger game. The truth that if Billie Piper's new incarnation is real, if Disney's partnership is in flux, then Doctor Who is heading towards something radical, a multiversal Doctor era. Every incarnation active, every past player back in motion. And guess who'd be first in line to claim her seat at that table? Jodie Whittaker. Let me ask you this, do you really believe her comment was just a casual, off-the-cuff statement in an interview? Or is it part of the long con, the marketing seed, the narrative bait, the what if, designed to test the waters? Because here's the secret no one is saying out loud in this industry: nothing is accidental. Stars don't speak unless they're allowed. And when they do, it's usually because a phone call was made behind the curtain. So here's where I need your thoughts, seriously. Would you want Jodie back? Drop a comment right now. Why yes, if you'd welcome her return, or no, if you think her time should stay in the past. I want to see where this audience lands, because trust me, the divide is deeper than Twitter trends make it look. Now, let's peel back another layer. Because if Whittaker returns, it won't just be about fixing old wounds. It'll be about rewriting Doctor Who's destiny. And the forbidden knowledge here is chilling.